My name is Lacey. I'm 27, and I never thought the best day of my life would start with my own embarrassment echoing through a church sound system. But that morning, standing behind the closed wooden doors before my walk down the aisle, I could already hear murmurs spreading through the crowd like a spark catching fire. My parents had pushed hard for the ceremony to be held at their church, the same place where I grew up singing in the choir and memorizing scripture. I convinced myself it meant they were finally coming around to my decision to marry Daniel, a widower and the most genuine, kind-hearted man I had ever met. But just minutes before everything was supposed to begin, I realized they had a completely different plan. The church was packed, sunlight streaming through stained glass, guests smiling politely, completely unaware that my parents had asked the pastor for a moment to speak before I even entered. I remember clutching my bouquet tighter as my cousin rushed in, pale and shaken, whispering that my father was already at the front. At first, I thought he was offering a blessing, but then I heard my name, spoken in a voice that didn't feel like his at all. Cold, rehearsed, almost theatrical. He said he loved me, but insisted I was making the biggest mistake of my life. He told everyone that marrying a widower meant I'd always live in the shadow of another woman, that I was ruining my future, and that Daniel's past would destroy me. Every word hit harder because it was amplified, echoing off the walls, impossible to escape. Guests shifted in their seats, unsure how to react. My mother stood beside him, nodding along, her expression firm, not sad, not conflicted, just certain, as if public humiliation might still force me to change my mind. Behind those doors, my hands started shaking. But the worst part wasn't anger. It was realizing they had never planned to support me. They wanted an audience. They wanted pressure. They wanted me to back out before I ever reached the altar. For a split second, I thought about running, not away from Daniel, but away from the humiliation waiting on the other side. Then I felt a small hand slip into mine. Daniel's 6-year-old daughter, Emma, had been quietly sitting nearby, coloring, unaware of the chaos unfolding. She looked up at me with calm, innocent confidence that somehow slowed my racing heart. She asked if everything was okay. And in that moment, I understood something. Love doesn't always come clean and perfect. Sometimes it arrives with history, with loss, with scars, but it can still create something beautiful. The music began despite everything, signaling it was time. The whispers grew louder as the doors slowly opened, revealing stunned faces, and my father still standing near the front. The whole scene felt surreal, like one of those dramatic stories people click on online. Parents refuse to accept daughter's marriage to a single father. Except they hadn't stayed away. They showed up just to tear me down. As I stepped forward, I remembered something my father had just said into the microphone. "This will ruin your life." The words hung in the air as every eye turned toward me, waiting to see if I'd fall apart. My heart was pounding so loudly I could barely hear the music. But with each step, I felt stronger. I wasn't walking into shame. I was walking toward a man who had shown me patience, honesty, and a love that didn't pretend life was flawless. Daniel stood at the altar, eyes red, steady but searching, silently asking if I still wanted this. I gave him a small nod. The room fell silent as Emma stepped ahead of me, holding a little sign she hadn't shown anyone, not even me. Something inside me shifted in that moment. My parents thought pressure would break me, but instead it forced me to choose myself, my future, and the family I was about to build. As Emma walked down the aisle, the silence became almost heavy. Her small shoes tapped softly against the floor as she held the sign tightly to her chest like it meant everything. Guests leaned forward, still unsettled, still processing what had just happened. Judgment lingered in the air, mixed with curiosity. My father stood rigid, convinced he had already planted doubt. My mother avoided my gaze completely, but Emma kept walking, calm and fearless, until she reached the middle of the aisle. Then she turned around. She lifted the sign so everyone could read it. Big, uneven letters, clearly written by a child, but powerful enough to shift the entire room in an instant. He didn't lose a wife. I didn't just lose a mom. Today, we get a family again. A gasp rippled through the church. Someone started crying almost immediately. The tension shattered, replaced by something raw and deeply human. People covered their mouths, wiping away tears. Even the pastor lowered his head, as if realizing this moment had become something far bigger than a wedding. Daniel broke first, covering his face as emotion overwhelmed him. My own vision blurred. Emma understood what so many adults didn't, that this wasn't about replacing anyone. It was about healing, about moving forward together. My father's words, spoken just minutes earlier, felt small, insignificant compared to the honesty of a 6-year-old girl. Whispers turned into quiet sobs. The same people who had listened silently before now looked ashamed for ever agreeing, even for a moment. Then, from the back, someone began clapping, softly at first. Another joined, then another. Soon the entire church filled with gentle applause, not loud or chaotic, but warm, accepting. I watched my father's confidence fade. His shoulders dropped as he realized he had lost control of the narrative. For the first time that day, he looked unsure. I walked the rest of the aisle with tears streaming down my face, but I wasn't embarrassed anymore. I wasn't afraid. When I reached Daniel, Emma slipped her hand into mine and placed it together with his, smiling proudly, like she had just mended something broken. The ceremony continued, but everything felt different now. The tension was gone. Every word mattered. Our vows weren't just promises between two people. They were promises to rebuild, to support, to love despite judgment. Somewhere in the crowd, someone recorded the moment on their phone. Emma's sign, the reactions, the shift from criticism to compassion. I didn't think much about it then. I was too wrapped up in the warmth surrounding us, the feeling that we had crossed from rejection into belonging. 2 days later, while we were still on our honeymoon, my phone started blowing up. The video went online. Within 48 hours, it hit 11 million views. Messages flooded in from people all over the world, widowers, step-parents, children from blended families, thanking us for showing a kind of love that people often judge too quickly. Everyone talked about the same moment. When the room read it, they broke down. My parents' speech? Barely mentioned. What people remembered was Emma's bravery and how love responded to humiliation without anger. Eventually, my parents called. Their voices were quieter than I had ever heard. They admitted they didn't understand until they saw the reaction from the world. Forgiveness didn't come overnight, but something shifted. And I realized something important. The real victory wasn't revenge. It wasn't going viral. It was standing firm in the love I chose. That day taught me that the loudest judgment can collapse in the face of simple truth, and sometimes the smallest voice carries the most power. If this story moved you and you believe love is worth standing up for, no matter what anyone says, make sure to subscribe, because sometimes one story is all it takes to remind someone out there that they're not alone.